Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike, and thanks for joining me this morning. I want to start off with a question for you this morning. Are there things in your business that you're a little reluctant to do? It's hard to get started sometimes, but gosh, you knew if you did it, it would be a game changer for you. It would really spur your business forward. What am I talking about? I'm talking about things like, videos. Are you making and using videos in your business? Do you know that you should, but you feel uncomfortable with it? How about phone prospecting? You know, if you did a little bit of it every day, or even more of it, that it would generate more listing site transactions for you, but it's hard to get started. And all kinds of things are door knocking, networking. It occurred to me yesterday, because I have to do prospecting in my job too. There's nobody who runs a business, and we're all individual businesses, that doesn't have to do this. And there's nobody that doesn't have reluctance. It could be that you're a little bit afraid, you're unsure, you're not confident, you don't feel like it. I get all those things. It's called being human. It's called natural. There's nothing wrong with you. There's no bad adjective you need to assign to this. But we do need strategies for dealing with it and getting us through it. And it occurred to me yesterday, I've been doing this for so long sometimes that admittedly, sometimes I'm not good at helping you guys because I just assume that everybody's got this all figured out. So as I was doing my prospecting yesterday, it occurred to me, I'm using the system that I've been using for the last 20, 25 years to do this. What is it? I warm up. Hey, look, to tell you that I just naturally want to get on the phone and make a whole bunch of calls to people that may not be welcoming to me, that's a lie. Nobody likes to do that, and it's hard for everybody to get started. For me, it's networking. I'm not a natural networker. I don't like the small talk and the chit chat. I know a lot of you do, but I don't. So I'm reticent. I'm reluctant to do it. But over time, I figured out some effective strategies. So let me run through a couple of them with you. Like with networking. I have a wingman. Why? Because I won't want to do it and I'll want to leave early. So I like to have a wingman. I like to have a friend to go with me or somebody that I'll meet there. It makes it so much easier for me. And then I set minimum standards for myself with that. I have to meet and get 10 business cards tonight from this. And I can't leave until I've gotten 10. Now, once I get 10, I can leave if I want to. Usually I don't. Usually I've worked up a sweat, so to speak, and now I'm in the flow and I feel comfortable. But if I have a friend meet me there or go with me, that'll make me get out of the car and go do it. It'll make me show up there in the first place. And now, once I'm there, I've got to get 10 cards. I can't leave till I do. Door knocking. I used to do a lot of door knocking. And that's not necessarily an advocate for door knocking today. That's your decision, and I'll be glad to work with you. But I'll promise you this. I did a lot of business from door knocking. And there was never a time, no matter how successful I was at it, how much business I got from it, there was never a single time when I just popped right out of the car and got along my way and couldn't wait to get started. It was exactly the opposite. I never wanted to do it, ever. I always felt like a vacuum cleaner salesman for some reason. I hated it. It worked. It generated a lot of listing inventory for me, which was great. That's what I wanted, but I never wanted to do it. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. What did I do? Well, I had a way of getting warmed up. I would listen to a lot of motivational stuff in the car. Sometimes it was just music. Sometimes it was speakers like Tony Robbins or Darren Hardy or people like that. They got me all fired up. And then I'd get out of the car and I'd go do it. And once I got going, I was fine. A little bit like the Nike commercial, right? Just do it. Well, that's overly simplistic. How do you get started doing it? Well, it's a little bit like this, folks. You wouldn't, if you wanted to go for a run today, I get it's raining in Atlanta today and you might not want to, but if you did want to go for a run today, would you just walk out your door and immediately go into a full sprint? Or would you warm up a little bit? Would you stretch out? Would you start off at a slow jog and gradually increase your pace? Of course that's what you do. That's what most sane people do, right? So videos. Hey, look, we're all uncomfortable. We're all worried about what other people might be saying about us. We know we shouldn't. We get that it's silly, but the fear and the reticence is still there. The reluctance to do it is still there. It's a real emotion, and it keeps us from taking action. So here's what I say. Well, here's what I do. I make an easy video to start with. Maybe I'm sending it to a friend of mine and it's funny, like I'm just goofing. Or it's to a family member. Or maybe I'm not going to let anybody see it. Maybe I'm just going to warm up and make it just to get eased into the water, so to speak. Right? Just to start, warm up, and ease into it. I don't want to just turn the camera on and say go. I'm not a professional actor. I need to get warmed up to this. You know, a lot of you want to make calls every day as part of a prospecting program, and I think that's great. I think all of us should do it to some extent every day. And we all know that if we did, I mean, I'm not saying you have to pound out hours worth of calls, but I think we all know that if you did it to your extent, that positive things would flow from that. Your listing inventory would climb, which is what I know all of us want. But I also know that we're really reluctant. Man, we are scared to death of this thing called the phone because we're a little unsure what's going to happen when people answer. And we secretly hope that they don't. Oh, good, it went to voicemail. So here's what I say to you. Warm up first. This is what I do. It's what occurred to me yesterday. I call a couple of people that I know are going to be warm and friendly to me. I don't want to start calling the unknown right away. So I'll call a past client that I know is going to welcome the call. I'll call a friend, somebody in my sphere of influence that I know will be welcoming of the call. And all I'm doing is warming up and stretching out a little bit. I don't want to start with the hard calls. I want to start with the easy ones. So if you're a prospect of mine and I know that you're friendly and you're welcoming and you're not going to be harsh with me and it's not going to be overly challenging, and at the end of it you're pretty much going to say, hey Mike, thanks for calling. It's good to hear from you. Then you are most likely going to be one of my first calls today. Why? I don't want to start with the hard calls. I want to start with the easy ones and warm up. And then I'll break a sweat. I'll be in the flow, I'll have a little momentum going, and then I can start easing into the more challenging calls. I think sometimes we're doing it the hard way. We're making it harder on ourselves than we really need to be. That phone's staring at you, the video is weighing on you. You would like to do a little door knocking around your new listing or an open house that you have coming up. You would, but the reluctance is paralyzing. Well, don't let it be. If you want to do a little door knocking and you're unsure how to get started, or you're a little reluctant, then listen to some motivational stuff that works for you, or take a friend out there with you and have some fun with it. Same thing with the video, same thing with networking, same thing with your calls. Start easy, get a good stretch in, warm up, get into your pace and your tempo, and then start the more challenging ones. You'll find the reluctance, it'll always be there a little bit. I mean, come on. It'll always be there a little bit, but it'll be much lower, and you're going to feel good. When I got started yesterday, I didn't want to start. I had 1,000 other things I thought I could be doing, right? I can always justify it. The more clever you are, the better your BS. But I know I need to do it. I was just reluctant to get started. And once I did, and I had those first couple of good calls where people were nice to me and appreciated me reaching out to them, then the rest, I was feeling good. I got a little sweat going, and it made everything else so much easier. And then when I went home last night, I felt proud of myself because I did things today that I didn't want to do, and I was building my business. And you can too. And that's my encouragement for you today. So as we end our call this morning, I want to do two things. First, I want to remind you that tomorrow, Wednesday, at 10:30, we're going to have a blast. The title of my program for about 75 minutes, hour and 15 minutes, is The Things I Use That Make Me Look Smarter Than I Really Am. And you're going to love this program. Don't miss it. Come. If you're listening to my voice right now, you're invited. Come. You're going to be glad you did. And the second thing for today is this. Go out there and make it happen for yourself today.